Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, you know what? Let's start with Eli and Tran, or the DA. This is a pretty simple concept, and I don't understand why it took, I don't know, let's say an hour before he really grasped the concept of what was going on. So, Melinda's pretty much like, listen, you have two choices. You either give me what I want, so that way I can put Chris in jail for life, or your wife goes to jail. And towards the end, she's like, listen, here's the thing. Kristen's going down. It's just a question of if you want your wife to go down. Find me something that I can use. Period. And, Eli is going through these stall tactics of, well, I don't know what kind of evidence we can give. And, then he gets to a point where he's like, well, she's not going to forgive me if I give her up. And I'm like, bro, she don't care about your relationship problems. She's giving you a job, get it done. I don't understand what the problem is. And I get that he loves his wife. I get he doesn't want to betray his wife. But when it really comes down to it, it's pretty simple. The fact that she actually gave him, she was like, listen, I'm gonna give you some time to think about it. And don't take too long, pretty much. That's not what she said, but that's pretty much the general vibe. And I get that he doesn't want to sit there and betray her. He doesn't want to sit there and cause a rift in their friendship and their marriage and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, it's a pretty simple concept. And I'm literally sitting there watching this, and I'm like, Eli, you understand that she doesn't care anything about what you're saying, right? Like, none of this matters. So I was like, this could have been solved in like 10 minutes. What are we doing? Anyway, she gave him some chance. She gave some time to think, which I felt like she was being really generous. But whatever. He knows what he has to do. I don't understand why we even sitting there still going with this whole, oh, what should I do? Like, dude, you know what you have to do. Why are we doing this for? Now, let's get to the Ben, Hope, and Victor. No, Ben, Hope, and Vincent. So, they get to the police station, and Vincent is like, listen, let me tell you what happened. And then he pretty much just says, I shot her. The end. He goes for this whole, well, you did this to my wife, and so I'm going to do this to your wife sort of thing, and an eye for an eye. And then he's like, I shot her, and her blood is on your hands. And I'm like, this story really doesn't track. But for a good minute, Ben gets so upset, he's ready to sit there and choke him out or whatever. And, after that whole fiasco happens, you got Hope and Ben sitting there talking like, well, I don't know if it's true. They're sitting there guessing if it's true, if it's not true. And then, Hope tells Sean that, this is what Vincent did. And then she, like, walks off and everything like that. And I'm just like, they're like, they don't know if it's true or not. And the problem with this whole thing is that it doesn't track. Why would you actually have a dead body in the car with you? And even if you did have a dead body, even if you had Sierra's body and you shot her and you still have her in the car, they didn't find anything. So he's clearly lying. I don't understand why no one is even taking anything what he says remotely serious. But anyway, before that episode ends, Ben is like, listen, if you killed her, I'm gonna kill you. Now I'm sitting there thinking, Ben, please don't do anything stupid. Like, take that gun that he was looking at and decide to shoot Vincent, because, well, if she's alive, then you're screwed, I guess. I don't know. I'm not saying you're screwed, but let's be honest. He's killed people before, and somehow he's still walking around as a free man. So, you know how these things go with soap operas. Enough said about that. Oh, thank you for the person. Thank you to the person that gave me Roman's name, because I was like, what is his name? What is his name? And I think that kind of sucks a little bit, because they usually say somebody's name whenever this person walks into a room. But anyway, Roman and Kayla's talking, and honestly, to tell you the truth, it's not really about anything except for that Roman is missing his family, and they talk about what's his name, Trip, and Allie, and the baby, and stepping up and all this other stuff. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, their conversation there really wasn't really that important. I'm just gonna be honest with you. But here's what is important, and this is where we get to Allie and Trip's part. Because here's the thing. Allie tells Lonnie her side of the story. And I have to sit there and emphasize her side of the story. Because across town, you got Trip telling Steve his side of the story. Now, Allie, you know what? Let's go to Steve. Let's go to Trip first. Trip pretty much says that they met it, they hung out, she was drunk, he was a gentleman, he took her upstairs, she tried to kiss him, he backed off, he left his number, and that was it. And then, this is after he convinced Steve that he's not the father of her child. And, Steve, talks to him a little bit, and, Trip is just sitting there telling Steve, like, I don't understand why she's upset with me. Like, she act like I did something really terrible to her. And he makes it seem like, he really doesn't understand what he did to her. Now, across town. And also, he said that he wasn't drunk. He was like, he wasn't drunk or whatever. He was clear, level-headed. He knew that she was drunk, and he didn't want to take advantage of her. Now, Allie is saying that Trip pretty much raped her. And the first thing that Lonnie asked was, when did this happen? And she says it was December or whatever, and that it happened in London. And that's already problem number one, is that it's outside of their jurisdiction. So, let's just sit there and say this happened yesterday, whatever. There's nothing that she can do. There's really nothing that she can do. It literally happened outside of her jurisdiction. And that's just number one. And I feel like that's already problematic. Unless the London police was just going to, take him back to London or whatever, or Paris or whatever, or wherever they were from. Number two, she pretty much tells Lonnie that, she was drunk and stuff like that. She had a lot to drink. She was just vaguely getting back her memory. 1 second. That she just started to get back her memory not that long ago. And then she asked Lonnie, she's like, well, I know that my memory, it's really bad. And I had a lot to drink, but do you believe me? Lonnie says yes. But she's like, I gotta tell you, I don't know how far this is gonna go. Now, that is my second problem. It's not to sit there and say that I don't believe her, but it's hard to believe her when her memory is just starting to come back. If she was not drunk and she said this, then it's different. Listen, we all been there. Pretty sure a lot of people have been there when they went past no point of return when it comes towards alcohol. Blackouts, fuzzy memory, and so that's already a problem. And so right then and there, it's tough, because I mean, I know Lonnie was like, I believe you, but if I was that cop in that situation, I'd be like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I believe you. I don't know what to believe. I'm not just going to sit there and believe somebody just because they said something. Even if she wasn't, even if she wasn't drunk and she said that, I still wouldn't sit there and say that I believe her. It's not to say she's not telling the truth, but I like to sit there and hear both sides of the situation before I can make a determination. And even after hearing both of their accounts, I'm not too sure if I believe what he's saying. This guy can just be coming across as a pathological liar. So, the fact that she was just like, well, I believe you, it's like, I don't know if that's exactly, good police work, that you just basically believe one person and their story before you got to hear both sides of it. And so when Lonnie went over to Steve's place and was like, listen, you know, I gotta sit there and talk to you, Trip. I think it's better if we do this downtown. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. This story has went from, to some extent, bad to worse. This is pretty much the end of the review of Days, and I just want to kind of give my final thoughts of why I'm not really 100% a fan of this storyline so far. Listen, a lot of this stuff, when it comes to our soap operas and stuff like that, is built off of fantasy and fun and, you know, a little bit of danger and stuff like that. But when you start adding stuff like with the Kiki thing, with the Me Too thing, and now you got this, it takes it out of that fantasy world, out of that comfort zone. And they put in a situation where it's a he said, she said sort of situation. This wasn't as bad as, this one is a little more, well, with the whole Kiki thing, I don't know if anyone's actually watched General Hospital, with the whole Kiki thing, we saw that this guy was just being a straight up scumbag. So, there was no doubt to who was on the right or who was on the wrong. This one, it's very split in the middle. And at this point, I don't even want to sit there and read the comment section of, like, let's say Facebook when it comes towards this story, because, ooh man, it's gonna get ugly. There's gonna be people there's gonna be people that's gonna believe her side. They're gonna be calling them all sorts of names. There's gonna be people that's gonna be believing his side. There's gonna be people that's gonna sit there and say you're victim blaming, and it's just gonna get into this big mess. And I feel like, I don't know if I would have picked this storyline to do. You know? I really don't know if I would have picked this storyline to do. You know, when a lot of people watch these soap operas and stuff like that, it's to kind of get away from, let's just sit there, stuff that's too close to home. And doing this storyline, I'm just sitting there just like, you better kind of, you know, choose your words and the way you do stuff in the next couple of days very wisely, because I feel like it's going to get ugly before it starts to get better. Now, one other thing that I will say, and I'll just kind of leave it at that, if, you know, Ali keeps saying that Trip is the father. Now, this is going to determine a lot if Trip is telling the truth, to an extent. If Trip is the father, then we're going to start to sit there and really have to question Trip's storyline. I mean, Trip's story. But if this child is not Trip's, wow. I feel like this is gonna be completely ugly going toward Allie. And I really hope the writers know what they're doing. Because either way, I feel like somebody in the next couple of days throughout this story, somebody's gonna look really bad. And yeah. So I hope that they treat the story with respect, and you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I wouldn't have personally picked this route to take, but I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for the people that's watching this. I know this came out super late, but Mondays is usually my late days. And I don't always say that, but I kind of got to say it for people who may not remember, new people, and just, you know, my way of apologizing. Because, well, if I had it my way, then I'll just be doing YouTube full time, and man, my life would be so much easier. I could just sit there and just watch soap operas in the days. I could watch Y&R, I could watch Bold and the Beautiful, and then I could just, you know, do a review after that, and be amazing. But I am working towards that with each new subscriber that I'm getting. So every now and then, I may sit there and ask people to share my videos to get new people who haven't been watching my reviews to watch my reviews, so I can get more subs and grow the channel and get to a point where I can actually start making some money, and then this way I can do this more than I do my other job. But till then, thanks for watching. Be safe. I appreciate all the support. Let me know what you think of this storyline. Do you think this is a good storyline? Do you think this is problematic? Do you wish that they would have did something a little more lighter or more lighthearted, or just not as like? Because this is bad. This is. I don't feel like this is bad, but I feel like this isn't on the side of fantasy or reality, or, you know, this is just a real thing that happens, and I feel like, I don't know. That's just my take on it, but let me know what you think. Have a good day. Well, have a good day if you're watching this tomorrow. Have a good night if you're watching this now. I will catch you in the next review.